Okay, guys, did you know that if you raise mass immigration with your local politician, be it Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Sinn Féin, Labour, Soc Dems, or People Before Profit, they will say that you have no humanity. Hi guys, welcome back to the Politics Podcast. Yes, a clip has surfaced from a year and a half ago of Micheál Martin, our Taoiseach, on Red FM with Neil Prendeville arguing about mass immigration and Ireland's open borders. Now, I'm going to play the clip for you. It's 4 minutes long. It's unbelievable. And I want you to listen to every single word from Micheál Martin arguing with this radio presenter, and bear in mind the fact that Micheál Martin knows that 81% of these people in IPAS centres are economic migrants. So they're not refugees as we know it, as we have always known it in the world. They are economic migrants coming, no doubt, because they saw that tweet from Roderick O'Gorman in 2021 highlighting our open border policy, highlighting that you will get your own door accommodation within 16 weeks of arrival, highlighting our fabulous benefits, all-inclusive lifestyle, dental, driving lessons, education, the works for you and your family. Roderick O'Gorman did that. Yes, he sent that tweet out in 8 different languages to make sure that everyone who does not speak English gets the message. Gets the message. Treasure Ireland is open. Well, that's what I want you to bear in mind. Micheál Martin said they were 81%. Could be a lot more. We believe there's a lot more. 81% are economic migrants. So let's hear Micheál Martin on Red FM arguing with the presenter. Remember, bear in mind when you're listening to these words that he came out and said that they were economic migrants anyway.
You need to be balanced in perspective in your analysis, Neil.
But
there are 22,000.
I'm not telling you one word of a lie.
Well, I tell you no. You're not telling the truth either. Well, what would you do?
What would I do?
No, so I'm just saying.
I would close the borders.
That's shocking.
Why?
Have you any humanity?
The frustration amongst people, and loads of, I've asked people to text, and over again, is the open border policy. I was looking at the numbers. The budget set aside $2.5 billion for Ukrainians fleeing war for 2024. That's on top of the $2 billion this year. And $1 billion the year before. Like, that's €5.5 billion. It's an incredible amount of money. So you have over 94,000 Ukrainian refugees with all of the trappings that are entitled to them, even though they're not part of the European Union. But the international protection order applications are up 186% since 2019. 61% of those coming into the country have no documentation. And they're an immediate cost to the state. They're coming from countries that would be regarded as quite safe. And people are very, very worried or angry or annoyed that that kind of money is being spent when it could have been spent helping Irish people if you had the will to do it before the war in the Ukraine.
Well, what would you do?
What would I do?
No, so I'm just...
I would close the borders.
That's shocking.
Why?
Have you any humanity?
I mean, no, it's not about that. It's about people saying at this stage that we cannot do any more.
Neil, I was at an event last night in Dublin, celebrating Ireland and Canada's relationship. And after the famine in 1847, 1849, about 40,000 people arrived in Toronto. And they had a population of 20,000. They took a starving Irish in on that occasion. Now, the way to deal with migration, and what you've it's not an open border policy. You can do all you like. We've seen in Britain.
But international protection orders is an open border if they come in with documentation.
That's all kind of simplistic stuff. We had that in Britain with conservative parties saying we'll do this and we'll do that. They couldn't stop any migration. You know why? People will do anything to leave some of these countries because of war, because of conflict. Now let's take Ukraine. People were bombed. Their houses were bombed. Energy was bombed. It's the first war on European mainland since World War II.
Where did you find the money for it, though?
The point is, what I'm trying to say to you is we have to have some degree of humanity.
No, I believe Varadkar has said that we should pretty much stop and send money instead.
Sorry, I think in the immediate aftermath of that war, people had to leave certain localities because of the brutality of the war.
Yeah,
I went to Busha, I went to Irpin, I saw photographs of men with their hands tied behind the back, bullets in their heads and murdered. And people fled war because Putin does this. He weaponizes migration and he wants to create a migratory pressure in Europe so that we all fold.
I understand.
And we allow him to take over Ukraine.
Do you not acknowledge that there is a waning popularity in other countries besides us? It's the same in the UK, Germany, France, Poland, even America.
I do. Of course it's not. I mean, people don't like the pressures it has. Although I think Irish people, there's another side to the story. A lot of Irish people out there have welcomed Ukrainians in, and a lot of people out there have facilitated Ukrainians coming in to Ireland. Not because of the emergency that the war represented, because of the attack on humanity, because of the attack on women and children, and the murder of civilians. Are you saying we should let them there to be bombed to bits?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Well, what are you saying?
I'm saying.
what are you saying?
I'm saying when do you say enough is enough? I'm saying that people contact me every day talking about their own struggles in their lives, and everything comes down to money or lack of money coming into a household.
Can I just say,
the Gardaí are quitting in their droves. The nurses and teachers are emigrating. The nursing homes are closing. The creches are closing. The preschools, the daycare, all about money.
You need to be balanced and perspective in your analysis, Neil.
Okay. Absolute madness from the Taoiseach of the country to argue with this presenter, who I must say, Neil Prendeville, I haven't listened to him much before, but absolutely impressive there. Arguing with Neil Prendeville there, Taoiseach. First of all, he says the Ukrainian war is the first war since World War II. Our own Taoiseach of the country must have missed Bosnia, Serbia, Boris Yeltsin. Unbelievable crap on the radio. And all the people listening. He says we don't have open borders. He says these people are fleeing war and persecution. Well, he actually knows, saying these words, that 81%, in his words, are economic migrants. So, that is a very, very serious interview. And I advise you to replay it and re-listen and replay it and re-listen. And always bear in mind the fact that he says himself that they're economic migrants. And listen to the way he talks down. Where's your humanity, he says. Where's your humanity? The famine. The starving Irish went all over the world. So now the world must come to the starving Irish. The poverty-stricken, the homeless Irish. This is the Taoiseach of the country. And it's not only him, by the way, it's all parties, like I said at the beginning. It's Fine Gael, it's Sinn Féin, it's People Before Profit, it's Soc Dems, it's Labour, it's some of the independents. It's anyone. It's your local councillor, it's your local TD, it's a minister. It's the members of the parties. They all think like this. Because they've all been brainwashed. They've all been brainwashed by NGOs. I'm going to give you an example now of an absolute crazy piece on Claire Byrne show yesterday. On News Talk, an NGO, a doctor, believe it or not, a GP. The news broke that 300 migrant, I think they were all men, said they were children as they waltzed into the country with no passports. They just said they were children. So they were put into a Tusla childcare facility with children. Who made those decisions? Who put them in? Which civil servants? Who's in charge? It's the biggest scandal. And bear in mind that Ukrainian boy, Vadim, from last year, brutally murdered in a Tusla childcare facility with a Somalian migrant stabbed him multiple times, and it turns out that the man wasn't a child at all. The guards have to concede that he was an adult in the childcare facility who murdered the Ukrainian boy. Multiple, horrific death. So bear that in mind when you're listening to that Red FM interview with Micheál Martin. Let me play you this doctor. Sorry. Let me play you the doctor talking about the men put into the Tusla childcare facility.
Kitty's piece written with Martin Wall about 300 child asylum seekers found to be adults in the last number of years. I mean, I think the general reaction to that has been that people are horrified that could be allowed to happen. But you seem to be not as concerned about it.
No, I think it's possibly a good thing. I think it's hopefully an indication that we're a caring, well-functioning society that looks after its vulnerable young people. And my impression is, though I'm open to correction, my impression is that these people are being accommodated in shared accommodation with other people of the same approximate level of maturity. So when we see these young people in the care of Tusla, it seems that if they're 16, 17, 18, they're in accommodation with other people of that age. They're not accommodated with much younger children who are 14 or 15. So my impression is that Tusla have taken a very caring, pragmatic approach to it, that it doesn't matter what your actual date of birth is. What matters is how mature you seem to be and what your behaviour is like. And then you cannot assess somebody on the spot, but with the experience of staff living with these kids 24/7, they get a much more accurate impression. When the person settles, they're relaxed into the country, and staff can make a much more accurate determination of their level of maturity.
Okay. Madness. That's a GP, a doctor. She runs an NGO, by the way. And this is the type of people that the government are having in their ear. This is the type of people that Micheál Martin, Simon Harris, Helen McEntee are listening to. Jim O'Callaghan. This is the type of person who says your date of birth doesn't matter. If you're a migrant man, you can be put in a care home with children. It doesn't matter. She totally has missed the whole thing. And she is in the ear. I presume she's one of the NGOs, I presume, because they are in the ear of the government. The ordinary person is not. But for a GP to say your date of birth doesn't matter, if you're a migrant man, yes, put them in with the children. Insanity. The place is gone insane. The country has gone insane. And we always knew it. And now they're coming out and proving it, telling us how insane it is. We have to leave the EU. There is no other way now. We have to leave the EU. There is no other way. And by the way, they would say, you can't leave the EU. We cannot do that. We'll be crushed if we leave the EU. When Minister Patrick O'Donovan has basically said yesterday that, yeah, we can do what we want. He's talking about the digital ID for social media use for under 16-year-olds. And what did he say? We're going to go it alone. If the EU won't go with us, we are going to go it alone. I put out to Minister, why don't we go it alone on our immigration laws then? Why are you saying we cannot do anything different to the EU? Why don't we go it alone on our fishing laws? Why are our fishermen down to 12% fishing quotas because of the EU? Do we hear any minister standing up and shouting and saying, we're going to go it alone with our fishing and our immigration. We're going to protect this island. But for something that they want to do, the digital ID that they want to do, everything's okay. We can go it alone. Well, we are going to go it alone. I feel it. I feel that one day, someday, we are going to go it alone. And Ireland will leave the EU because the EU Migration Pact is going to cause more mayhem. We see the stories now. We see this NGO saying it's okay to put men in childcare facilities. The mayhem it's causing, the money it is wasting the money, the billions that are wasted. Micheál Martin going on the radio and saying you have no humanity, saying everyone's fleeing war and persecution when he then said that they're not. Look how these people act. It's unbelievable. And like I said, it's not just him, it's not just Fine Gael, it's all of them. Our so-called opposition are all in on it. Roderick sent those tweets for the world to come. The world has now came. It's going to increase. They're going to blame the EU when it increases. When there's mayhem in Ireland, they're going to blame the EU. And we won't let them. Because we're telling you how it's going to pan out. And I know it. I know that the EU Migration Pact is going to make things 100 times worse. They've built the super centres. They've built the IPAS super centres. They're telling us in front of our eyes. And all we need is people to wake up. Ireland needs to leave the EU, as hard as that may be for some of you to hear that. It has to be done. And we really will go it alone then, Minister Patrick O'Donovan. Yes, we will go it alone. That's what I wanted to bring you guys, that Red FM. Share it to your family and friends. Share that interview because it's crucial and it's vital. Because if you were listening that day to Red FM, to Neil Prendeville's show, and to listening to Micheál Martin, you would be convinced of what he's saying. He's so convincing. Meanwhile, in the background, they know that they're economic migrants. So all that whole interview was rubbish. So yeah, guys, that's what I wanted to bring you. As always, set up an account on X. If not, I'll be here. But if you do set up an account on X, just follow me very quickly and you will be informed in an hour. And the main thing is to talk to family, friends, work colleagues about what's going on. Don't be frightened. You're not alone. Of course, you can bring up immigration. No, if anyone says to you, where's your humanity, like Micheál Martin said, just, you know what to say to them. They've been brainwashed. And the likes of that doctor, that GP, is doing the brainwashing. The NGOs are doing the brainwashing. It's a good job. If you watch this channel, I'm sure you're awake. And there are many more like you. And you're not alone. And the main thing is that you have the courage to speak. And you are in the right. 100% in the right. Okay, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'm sure we will talk very soon. Take care. Bye.